how do we know that this product definition is truly working? It's adding value, it's reducing risk. Any thoughts on how you guys have managed that?
I think Victor has a good viewpoint here. He loves to talk about the investment and the investors. Yeah. You go take this one, please.
Well, what I see on it is that when you have a fairly defined product and you have people aligned around that vision and around essentially serving the end customer, right? Your actual client, then you start to get real input end to end. From acquisition until your lifetime as a client, until you're no longer a client or you're reactivated and you go back and you really start to be able to have that transparency to understand what's going on and what are the metrics involved. So once you have those metrics in, you understand your time to market, you understand how much you're investing in actual innovation, how much you're spending on operations, how much you're spending on even defects, what is the level of quality of your product. When you really get that transparency, then you start to manage. Then you can look at your products and say, well, this product is failing, should we pivot? You can bring in product discovery into it. Should this be terminated? Because a part of agility is terminating early. If this is not working, let's terminate this product. Yeah. Let's get those people. You're not going to get rid of your teams, but let's get them into products that are more important to us and more important to our clients. Or let's try a different product. Let's start a new one. Yeah. With that amazing team.
That's the investment decisions, right?
Exactly.
Typically it's upper management or investors.
A VC even.
Yeah, so like a VC
structure.
Right. And so obviously most companies are in business, for a profit. So revenue is a really big metric, right? Yeah. But you might be new into the market and maybe it's not revenue, maybe it's user satisfaction instead.
Sure.
Because early on, a lot of these big companies don't make any revenue for several years, but they are gaining more users and acquisition of customers and things like that. So, I think all these metrics are what help you sort of see, now that you've defined your product, and you can apply this consistent set of metrics, you can measure trends over time to see if you're really reaping the value out of that particular thing. And
exactly.
That's what we here at Scrum.org call evidence-based management for software, right? Uh-huh. We have this sort of metric framework, these 11 or 12 key metrics that you measure and trend against for a particular product. And again, that's why product definition is so important. So you can get that line of sight of value to the product itself. And then you can make investment decisions based on what you see there.
It will help you make investments in products and in your organization as well.
Absolutely.
Like if you want to make an investment in changing something, hiring people. I want to create a new division. Yep. That will get you metrics back, and that becomes a cycle that you evaluate your organization, and it becomes manageable. All of a sudden you have like a huge organization that starts to get a lot more transparent and a lot more manageable.
Absolutely. Empiricism, transparency, onto the truth of what's happening, and then making wise investment decisions as a result of that.
Yeah, so I think in this conversation we covered a lot of ground, and most importantly we spoke of the tactics and the mechanics, but towards the end we started talking about elevating empiricism to an executive and an kind of enterprise level. If you were to close with one parting thought each, maybe a tweet, 144 characters or less, what is it that the most important thing you would like our viewers to keep in mind when they grapple with this ball of mud of product definition? Victor?
Well, to me, it all revolves around. I'm a business partner in a software in a services company. I have a mission to serve. It's like I have a client, and the best for him is something I'm really concerned about. I'm really trying to be connected with that, and that's a passion. So the vision of the product is what will inspire people to create that service vision. What is your purpose? I mean, otherwise I'll do something else, right?
Okay. So be
The vision and the purpose to me is like
so the
fundamental.
Okay.
You know, it's a little bit self-serving to say this, but what I try to explain to people is that learning how to do Scrum is difficult in and of itself, okay? And how to sort of achieve maximum value through just sort of single team Scrum, if you will. Scaling actually opens up the possibilities exponentially from there. We mentioned 7 or 8 or 9 different considerations for how you define a product. That is extremely complex work going on right there. So I think people ought to get educated, whether it's reading or coming to classes, reading the Nexus Guide, the Less book, coming to that Scale Professional Scrum class, whatever you got to do. I really think education is really important. But you know, without trying to be too self-serving, let me just say that try to get started with that 3 to 9 teams, that first group, and get really good at the scaling piece there. And one product backlog, and one product owner, and you know, one unified effort towards product backlog refinement, however you do the Santa and the many elves.
So Chad, what are your closing thoughts?
Okay, my tweet. So I have to reiterate, one product owner per product backlog, scale your Scrum teams underneath that, and get help if you need it. But I always think collapsing the number of lists that you have in the organization is a good thing.
Yes.
That will reduce the hidden waste of dependencies and coordination.
Very good.
So always move towards collapsing your lists.
Very good.
Into one product backlog,
Into
right?
one product backlog based on a product definition that comes out of many, many rich conversations,
Right.
probably with your whoever is helping you with your change.
Very good. So sometimes less is more. So folks, we hope you found that conversation useful. Here are some invitations to consider. Recommendations first, I would say master product ownership at a maybe a single Scrum team level. Some avenues, come join our Professional Scrum Product Owner course. Validate your learning with the PSP assessments. Once you mastered Scrum at the team level, we would invite you to learn scaling, attend one of our scaling workshops, read the Nexus Guide. Again, validate your learning by taking the assessment. And last but not the least, do not forget to elevate empiricism at the enterprise and executive level. One possibility is use the evidence-based management framework to empirically measure and continuously inspect and adapt value. So hope you found this useful. If there are other topics you'd like us to talk about, post your comments below. And most importantly, try out some experiments. Let us know how it went. When you need help, please reach out to folks like Victor, Charles, and Chad. This is a very complex piece of work. Be an informed customer and have a trusted guide and advisor next to you. So until our next conversation, keep calm and Scrum on.